All right, my friends, a Fitness Street partner transformation story is about to unfold. We have Rosie here. Alex is not with us right now, so Rosie's speaking on his behalf.
He is alive.
He is around.
Last time I checked.
12-month transformation story here on Fitness Street / Tiger Muay Thai. You guys are going to get the full transformation where these guys started and where they are today. They're flying it in a few days from now. We're going to go through all the details, the struggles, the good times after the intro. Let's roll that. Boom. All right, my friends, welcome back to the Fitness Street series. It is the 10th of April, 2023. We have Rosie here. Alex, as mentioned in the intro, is not around at the moment. So Rosie's speaking on their behalf in terms of their fitness transformation over the past 12 months.
12 months tomorrow.
12 months tomorrow. Yeah. They're flying out in 3 days from now.
Yep.
And so we're going to kick it off with the backstory now. Real quick, my piece to this backstory. I landed here on Fitness Street May last year, 2022. I met these guys, I think 3 weeks after, around early June.
Yeah, when you moved into Two Home where we were staying at the time.
These guys were my neighbours, like the next, 2 doors down or so. For quite a while, actually. I was here for 6 months. Then I went back to Melbourne for 4 or 5 months. Then I came back. These guys are still here. But they've also left the country in the interim as well.
Yep.
And I thought I'd catch their story just on their way out. Guys, one of the most inspiring partner transformation stories I've seen out here on Fitness Street and Tiger Muay Thai. I wanted to bring these guys on, but I thought we'd just start with a quick backstory from Rosie. Where did it all begin? Back home in the UK?
Yeah, back home in the UK. So we, it was just after COVID, or just as lockdowns were ending in the UK. We had a house on the market. We were planning to move anyway. I had quit my job. I really wasn't having a nice time at work, and we knew that we were moving. Alex had been out of work for quite some time. He has had a lot of mental health issues and struggled quite a lot after a family trauma. We'd both put on quite a lot of weight. And we were basically like, we don't have a mortgage to pay at the moment because we were about to put the house on the market. We don't have kids to worry about or take to school. Neither of us were working and we'd saved up a little bit. If we don't go out now and do it, we will always find an excuse to not go out and do it. So there are a lot of people who find it difficult to make that time, and we were in a perfect position. So we thought we'd give it a go. But yeah, it's a... God, my tongue's tired now.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's basically the backstory. Is I was in a tricky work situation, and lots of shit happened, and I wasn't enjoying it. Alex was also struggling quite a lot with his mental health, and had been for quite a few years on lots of different medications and stuff. And we just thought this can only be a good thing for us, and we booked a one-way flight, and
awesome.
Yeah.
All in, baby.
Which was doable at the time because of the types of visas and stuff. So we booked a one-way flight, and we basically said to ourselves, if we don't like it after 3 weeks, we'll come back after 3 weeks and we'll go, well done us, we tried something. Or we'll just stick around for as long as it takes and as long as we enjoy it. And if we kind of get like a balance, and then maybe we'd go traveling as well. But we just absolutely loved it and saw some really good progress and met some amazing people. So we're still here a year later.
And it's amazing because Rosie's been sending me photos and video footage of their training journey over the past 12 months, and it's been so inspiring. Also, not just through the videos and the photos that she sent me, but also watching these guys transform as well whilst I've been here. I remember watching Rosie doing the Western boxing class last year, and then even most recently watching her do the Western boxing class last week. And I'll show you some footage of that transformation in upon itself, that transformation in the boxing. Like, your boxing has come so far.
Yeah, and I'm really pleased about that because I really enjoyed boxing back in the UK. I went to a club twice a week for an hour each, and I loved it and really enjoyed it, and the coaches there were fantastic, and it was a really cool place. But I can move my body now, and I've got less of my body to move. Thanks. But that makes such a difference. Like, we've lost so much weight and we've got so much strength and muscle now that trying a new thing is so much more doable than trying a new thing when you're heavy and you struggle to move through the world anyway. So as much as I loved boxing before, I was hindered by my body. And now with the transformation of like my body and my muscle definition and my cardio especially, I can enjoy it more because I can go for longer and do more stuff, and it's good fun.
That's incredible. And so just to rewind the clock a little bit with the backstory, so I'll show you guys some month 1 photos, okay? So this is photos they have taken just before leaving the UK, or just after leaving the UK?
Yeah, so we took some before we left, and then we took some on our first day at Tiger, and our first class, which was Western boxing. And then we basically created a Google Drive of like month 1, month 2, month 3. Actually, we did it in weeks to start with because we didn't know how long we'd be here, so it was week 1, week 2, and then and then we started doing it in months.
We're talking a 70 plus kilo collective weight loss.
Just about.
Together. So as a couple, 70 kilos over 12 months, almost 12 months. Let's call it 12 months. In that transformation journey, what was the most challenging part of that journey for you guys?
There have been a few different things. It's not straightforwards necessarily. We've had a couple of injuries, and we've had some illness as well. Like I said before, we were both on medication actually prior to us coming out from the UK. Alex, when we arrived, was on 7 different types of medication that he was taking at various times for various mental health and physical health things, such as like high blood pressure and stuff like that. And he made the decision under medical guidance to come off those slowly and titrate down over a series of months. In combination with training and lots of other stuff. And the final medication that he came off was a really difficult one to come off, and he really struggled with that and got quite unwell for several weeks, if not months later. So training became quite difficult, although also the remedy, like he found that the best way to get rid of a certain type of withdrawal symptom from that medication was to go to a 12:30 strength class. And it was like and he was like, to be honest, even if that doesn't make it better, it will have improved my overall health anyway. So like I might just get better generally. So that was really cool. So that was really, really tricky. I was also out for 5 weeks with a lower back injury.
I remember that last year.
That was so frustrating, and I tried so many things. I was like, right, I'm going to rest for an entire week, or I'm just going to go to hot yoga for an entire week and do really gentle stretching. Went to the physios, and in the end, the physio said to me, you just need to stop doing everything, and you need to completely rest, because even if you think you're helping it with gentle stretching and hot yoga and stuff, what you're doing is causing micro traumas to the cells that have just repaired themselves overnight. So just take another 2 weeks off. So I ended up being out for about 5 weeks, which was really frustrating. It allowed me to focus a bit more on nutrition, because I didn't have to fuel my body really well for lots of difficult training. So that's when I sort of started getting into nutrition a little bit, which was a positive. So in general, I'd say those were the 2 biggest challenges, was injury and then some illness. You get lots of like small challenges, like I've run out of sports bras, everything stinks, like I need new trainers for the 3rd time, like all of those sort of little things.
But the training injuries were the big ones. So
the training injuries were the big
Alex's injury that he had.
Which injury? He had a hip flexor tear.
Hip flexor tear.
So this is quite an amazing story actually, because he had a grade 2 hip flexor tear, and that usually takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal if you're 100% rest. We visited PhysioFit on the soy here a few times, and they were incredible, and he completely rested and followed all of their advice as well, and he was back to training in 10 days. So that was amazing. He had to modify stuff, and he had to be careful, and he then started going to the mobility and the hip and glute classes as well. But 10 days it took, and I think that was a combination of really good nutrition and the heat, and just generally we were in a lot better place, like peak physical fitness of our entire lives. Like we were in the best place possible to be able to recover from injury. But that hurt him a lot. But he got back to it.
And both continued the transformation journey. Did you ever feel, whilst you were injured, either you or Alex, like just giving up, just like fuck it, throwing the towel and just go home, or Were you just like, no, we're going to persevere through this together?
Yeah, it was that one. We definitely persevered. We didn't at any point think, right, that's it, it's over and we're off going home. I think the frustration that we did have was we're losing money. So that was like, I'm really tight and really efficient, and I love a bargain. And I was a bit like, oh, I've just paid for an all-inclusive pass and now I've got to miss it. And I didn't know
You can't
at
make
the
the
time.
most of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know at the time that Tiger will actually freeze your membership if you're sick. So I was just like, oh, I've just lost all these weeks of training. And he felt similarly. But we also, we were careful with how we bought passes and stuff, so we weren't always on the all-inclusive. Sometimes we bought week passes, sometimes we bought day passes, and mostly we bought 10 session passes.
I see.
So we could, like, you could take a week off and not have lost anything because you've still got 7 remaining on your pass, for example.
That's a really nice piece of advice, actually.
Yeah, look at it, because I think Alex is super into numbers and spreadsheets, and he's done loads of analysis on stuff, and he has figured out that on average over the course of a year, he's paid about £4.20 per class, which is not what you would pay if you
Back
just
home.
bought on an include. No, exactly. So it's definitely worth going through the numbers to see how many classes am I likely to do per week or per month, and which is the best pass for you. For me, I have to do at least 6 classes a week to make it worth me getting the all-inclusive, which I easily do. So I get the all-inclusive.
Gotcha. Yeah, so just for clarity, so these guys have been training, just correct me if I'm wrong, but training at Tiger Muay Thai the whole time?
The whole time, yeah.
The whole time, 12 months?
We've been to hot yoga a few times,
Yep.
and we tried a couple of other places, but in terms of fitness and transformation stuff, everything's at Tiger.
Everything's at Tiger.
Yeah.
And to clarify again, because people will ask these questions, I'm coming out to Tiger for a month or 2 months, 3 months to get a package for all those, 1 or 3 months or so. Just to clarify, so it was a 10 session pack or a week by week.
Yeah, so
so you can allow yourself to have those rest times.
Exactly.
And not feel pressured to make the most of your membership.
Exactly. And if people come out here and really want to smash it and they buy an all-inclusive pass, you feel the need to make the most of the membership, and you can overtrain and you can not get the right recovery, and actually you can do yourself more damage. So I think it is useful to come out and get a 10 session pass, or I think they might do 5 session passes as well, or they did maybe in low season. And you can do 1 class on your first day here and get used to the heat and figure out what it's going to be like. Take a day off the next day and then do 2 on the 3rd day and see how you go. But I think that just gives you a bit more flexibility without feeling like you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, or you're not making the most of it.
Sure, that's a really good.
And then that gives you a chance to go do the touristy stuff and see the beaches and bits and pieces like that.
Absolutely, which you got to do when you come out here.
Yeah.
So you've shared the toughest times that both of you guys have experienced.
Yep.
Injuries and coming off the medication. And actually, just on that note, I just reminded myself, have you, if you don't mind me asking, have you guys completely come off that?
Yes. Neither of us takes any medication anymore. I think that's pretty impressive given the nice long list of mental and physical health conditions between us.
You've got to be proud of yourselves for that, seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a huge feat in itself.
Absolutely. And people should absolutely take medications when they're prescribed and they're necessary.
Yeah.
But there's also so many changes that you can make in your diet and your lifestyle if you have the opportunity to do that, that will hugely decrease your need for that medication as well. So if you are someone who has the opportunity to make those changes and you're supported in that, then I think that's totally a step that most people should consider. Alongside medication if it's necessary. But we both have a condition called fibromyalgia, which is basically your nerves misfire and your pain threshold is lowered as a result. So stuff that shouldn't hurt you hurts you. And that's all to do with, from my understanding anyway, the sodium and potassium ions in your body. So 2 of the key electrolytes alongside magnesium. So when we started learning about nutrition, we took into consideration electrolytes and sodium, magnesium, potassium, and looked at our diets to see how we could even that out in our diet and hope that made a difference in the nerve misfirings. And for me, absolutely it has. For Alex, absolutely it has. So that's a really cool benefit that we can move through the world without so much pain anymore.
Speaking of your nutrition education, so you don't have a background in fitness.
I do not.
Alex doesn't have a background in fitness.
He does not.
So how did you, in terms of your transformation for both of you, how did you navigate the nutritional, we'll get to the training, but how did you navigate the nutritional side of your transformation? Did you have a coach? Did you do meal prep? Did you count and track calories? Like,
Okay.
how did you do it?
So we didn't do any of those things. We didn't have a coach. We didn't do meal prep. We never counted calories. We turned up here in an attempt to move our bodies more and to get fitter. And for the first month, that's all we did. And we made a lot of progress and really enjoyed it, but we made no changes to our nutrition plan at all. And we were going out and enjoying all the different places on the soy that you can enjoy. We are both vegetarian, so arguably we had a healthier diet than some people do, but also not, because chocolate is vegetarian and sweets are vegetarian often. So we started looking into it, I think when we were looking at budgets, actually. We were like, how much can we spend per day and where should we eat? And what will fuel our training? And we just started thinking about like our protein intake, making sure we want to build muscle and get strong. This wasn't just a, we want to lose weight and look good. It was, I want my body to work better, and I want to be healthier and fitter and stronger, and I want to be able to do a push-up, and I want to be able to do a chin-up. And for that, we had heard around that you need protein, and as vegetarians, that's trickier than meat eaters who can go eat chicken breast or something. So we started looking up vegetarian, vegan sources of protein.
Here in Phuket.
Yeah, which is surprisingly easy, because they have a big, like, Buddhist festivals often have lots of vegetarian food, and there's lots of soy protein in the UK. We have a brand called Quorn, or Linda McCartney stuff, so that's full of protein, but they don't have that here, but they've got their own versions, and that's really good. So we basically started Googling and watching, totally self-educating, watching lots of YouTube videos, talking to some of the coaches here, talking to some of the other students and participants, and just learning loads. And we implemented what we learned as we went along, which for us really, really worked, because I think if we knew everything that we know now about nutrition at the beginning, it would have been total information overload. And we would have, I think, like lots of people do on fad diets, they go, right, I know everything, and I'm going to do it for 2 weeks and burn out and then eat massive amounts of cake.
It's too much too soon.
Yeah, and we didn't do that. We did it bit by bit. We also ate whatever we wanted at the weekends. We always had a treat weekend, because for us it wasn't sustainable to be eating super healthily constantly. And we needed that reinforcement of like, you did a good job, reward yourself. And what the rewards looked like totally changed. So our reward, like back in the day, was like, let's go to tribulations and order like everything on the menu, and let's go to like the fancy cake shop and get stuff because it's way cheaper than the UK. And now our treats is like, it's only 199 baht for an unlimited salad bar. Let's go there and stock up on all the different colourful nutrients. So that changed.
What a cool transformation.
So we learnt loads. We read research papers, and we watched YouTube videos that were backed up by science. We read books by doctors and gastroenterologists, listened to a variety of audiobooks and podcasts and stuff, so that we knew that the information, like, there's a lot of crap on the internet, and there's a lot of people that just say the way that you're going to get the body that you want and be the healthiest ever is to only eat eggs, and that's it, nothing else. Eggs, and occasionally you can look at an apple. And we totally disregarded all of that. Like, we properly drilled down into the science as much as we were able to, which was really good. One of the biggest things that made a difference to us was when we discovered intermittent fasting, which on a basic level is you pick an 8-hour period where you eat throughout the day, whatever you want, as many times as you want, and then for 16 hours around the clock you don't eat anything else. You just consume water. So that was super easy for us, because we picked like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we could just have breakfast, lunch and dinner in there, but it meant no snacks after 5 p.m. That, interestingly, had a massive knock-on effect on our sleep, because we were like, well, there's nothing to do because there's no snacks, we're going to bed early, and then that boosted like learning about sleep and recovery and stuff like that. So that made a massive difference, and we were so excited to have discovered intermittent fasting that we implemented it for a week, and we were like, yeah, let's do this, this is really good, we're feeling energetic, and we know all about insulin and hormones and how that impacts your hunger levels and your satiety levels, and we learned like all these buzzwords. And we came to the gym after a week and we were like, guys, we just found out about this thing and you should all be doing it. And everyone's like, everyone here does that already, you are nothing special. And that did two things. Firstly, it totally reinforced that we had found the right stuff, and that's exactly what we should be doing. But secondly, it demonstrated that everyone here was doing something and no one had pushed that onto us. Nobody had said, you need to do this,
preaching.
You need to do that. Yeah, there was no preaching. It was just like, oh, how are you getting on, and stuff. So when we eventually came and went, ta-da, we found the magical cure, like just don't eat for 16 hours and then eat whatever you want for 8, everyone was like, yeah, we know, welcome to the club. So that was really cool.
So do you find that IF, intermittent fasting, and your nutrition education that you picked up along the way, incrementally over the past 12 months, in between your training sessions, at home, at night, self-educating, do you find that do you think that was the largest contributor to your collective weight loss?
Ooh, I think me and Alex would say different on this.
Yeah.
So for me, learning about nutrition and implementing that and trying lots of different things as well, because it's really important to note, like, I did so many different things over the course of 12 months. I didn't just stick to one thing. I would say that made the biggest difference for me.
Sure.
I think Alex would say the gym made the biggest difference for him.
The training.
Yeah, and we often joke that I would rather skip a dessert and he would rather eat it and do an extra training session.
Right.
So I think we're quite different in that, and we've learnt the same stuff, like we've learnt along together, but what we prefer and how that's made a difference is, is like deviated. And there was one point where our diets looked so different that we had a conversation like 8 months in. We were like, I think we need separate grocery bills. Like, I think we need to start paying for our own food. This
really?
joint account malarkey's not working anymore. Because like what we were eating was so vastly different to support different training needs. So yeah, for me, definitely nutrition, and for Alex, I think definitely fitness training.
Great. So what I'll do before I forget is I'll link up the resources list. So Rosie sent me a resources list of all the things that she could remember learning about nutrition over the past 12 months or so. I'll actually create a thing on the website. I'll link it up down below in the description if you guys want a full list of what these guys had referenced over the past 12 months to help contribute to their transformation. If you guys are interested, we'll call it the Rosie and Alex...
The flamboyant and bulky.
The flamboyant and bulky resource list, okay?
Perfect.
Yeah, that's their Instagram handle. I'll link that up down below as well, flamboyant and bulky.
I think also it's important to note that this list we've accumulated over the course of a year. So if people are interested in doing what we've done or getting into fitness from an absolutely zero starting point, this is not a resources list to consume within 3 days. Like, don't just sit at your computer and read it or like watch the videos. There's some really interesting stuff, and obviously you go down internet rabbit holes when you get there, but like,
it's for slow digestion.
It is slow
over
digestion,
time,
which is really good for you.
It's a very
slow
comprehensive
digestion.
yes. So on the topic of training, so we talked about nutrition. So on the topic of training, how many times per week were you guys training on average?
Oof, on average, I'm not sure because of the injury weeks and illness stuff.
So on average, what would you say?
The most I've done in a week is 14 training sessions. I think the most Alex has done in a week is 15. I would say that I train 2 to 3 times a day, most days. I don't train Saturday or Sunday, although Saturdays are available for training at Tiger. They're not closed, and they have wildcards and strongman and Muay Thai classes. But yeah, we train Monday to Friday, 2 to 3 times a day. Yeah, sometimes 4 times. Alex also does yoga in the mornings before the fitness stuff starts, so he often gets in 4 classes.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they hard sessions though? Like, so we're talking, what does that day look like? So we're talking yoga in the morning, then we do a hard session of striking or Muay Thai, or
so
what does that look like?
So say a typical Monday, Alex would start with yoga, which is like a vinyasa flow ashtanga type yoga in about 35-degree heat, so it's definitely not a chill session. It's quite an energetic session for a beginner. But it's a good warm-up and suppleness to sort of wake you up in the mornings. He often jokes that he doesn't wake up until halfway through the next session, so he's sort of like got one session for free because he was like barely awake. The next session is ambush with Tommy, Coach Tommy, and that is a hardcore, often HIIT, so high intensity interval training workout. If not HIIT, then just pure cardio stuff. That's explosive stuff, heart rate up, don't lift heavy, and it's about like form and technique, but mostly keep moving and try and like you maintain a speed that you can maintain for the whole time,
Sure.
so rather than going completely out.
Yep.
We'd then tend to chill for a bit, get a coffee, get some breakfast, and just take some time to shower and find clean clothes and stuff.
Yep.
Lunchtime is also another explosive session if we do the next class. Lots of HIIT stuff again, and then in the afternoons at CrossFit, that's a much more slow and strength-based workout.
Right.
And you don't really want to attempt that without having had a decent amount of fuel in your body.
Right.
That's not one to do if, like, first thing in the morning if you're fasting or
Sure.
haven't eaten for 16 hours. Like, that is, you need energy for this one.
Yeah.
But it's slower, slightly. And it's much more like muscle strength building rather than getting your heart rate up.
Yeah.
So it's a good combination of the two.
So different energy systems that you're training.
Totally.
You're not smashing the same energy system throughout the day.
And if you do smash the same energy system throughout the day, you will die the next day,
Yeah.
and you'll really feel it. And you might wake up and go, oh, I actually feel okay, and my body doesn't ache, and I stretched well, but by midday the following day, you are just like,
Correct.
I'm absolutely exhausted. Yeah.
Because as you probably are aware, overtraining is a big thing out here, right?
Absolutely, and I think the people guilty of it most are the ones who come for like 2 weeks because they're like, I want to do everything. And sometimes you just need someone else at the gym to say, just go home, just go and have a nap and reconsider, and maybe go for a walk, maybe just do 10,000 steps today rather than go to 4 classes. And that's really important for recovery. And we had totally not appreciated that before we came out here and learned that. Like, as total beginners to the fitness world, we were in England thinking like everyone trains for 4 hours and their heart rates are really high when they're training and really low when they're not, and that's what we want. And you learn to appreciate a very different type of training when you're here. So there's mobility classes here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11, and they are really slow paced, and they are really, really focused on flexibility and mobility.
Yes.
But you're not going to burn more than 100 calories in that class, but it's so beneficial for your body and your muscles and moving your joints that they're such a lovely addition to your hardcore training where you feel like you're making progress.
I'm glad you clarified that, because a lot of people watching this will look at 3 to 4 classes a day and just melt in their chairs. It's good to clarify that we're not talking 3 or 4 hours of hardcore 100% all-out energy. We're talking about, there's mobility in there as well, there's yoga in there, there's a couple of there's 1 or 2 hard sessions, but different energy systems, right? So strength,
and not every single day either.
And not every day. So you would start off the week strong, and then would you taper toward the end of the week? That's what I do. I taper toward the end of the week.
For me personally, the timetable doesn't have that much on a Friday that I enjoy. So I tend to take a Friday a bit steadier. So I might just do 1 session and then you go, right, it's the weekend, I'm done. And as the timetable changes through high season and low season, different options are available as well. But we would definitely start strong. Like maybe 3 or 4 sessions each on a Monday. Probably 2 or 3 on the Tuesday, and then we make it up as we go along for the rest of the week depending on how we're feeling. Like a lot of people give advice that like, oh, you should sit down on a Sunday with your calendar and you should figure out everything you're going to do and make sure you have enough electrolytes and make sure you have enough sports bras and underwear and socks and stuff. But actually for me and for Alex, we've gone, right, this is what we're going to do on Monday and Tuesday, and then we're going to reassess and see how we go.
I do exactly the same thing. It's usually the night before. I think I might do this class.
I'll set my alarm and see how I feel.
That's exactly. And then I wake up and go, you know what, I still feel so much pain here or there, I'm not going to do it, I might just do X, Y, Z instead.
And I think this journey as well has made us, like, I'm a better judge of that now. So my body hurt all the time back in the UK. Like, I had inflamed joints, I had fibromyalgia, I have a spinal condition, and it's quite easy for me to go, I can feel this niggle here, or I can feel that thing there, and I'm not really sure if I want to train. Now I know what those pains or feelings are, so I can feel a little bit of say inflammation in my lower back, but I know that was from a specific exercise yesterday, and doing this next specific exercise today is not going to hinder it. In fact, the movement is going to be good. And I've just got better at knowing my own body. Is this an ache, or is this an injury?
Reading your body.
Or is this because I'm hungry, or is this because I didn't sleep well? And I've got better at that, and Alex has got better at that, and we're much more equipped to make the decision that today's a day to rest versus today's a day to be lazy, and you know, going to one session is actually going to help me recover, but if I did 2, that would be too much. So we've been able to kind of figure that out along the way.
Be a better judge and jury of your own.
Definitely.
Your own training, your own body, how you feel, and then navigate training around that.
And I think a lot of people are quite good at that, and then they ignore it. So they're like, I know I shouldn't train today, but
they do it anyway.
I'll go anyway. And then they're really, really fucked. And it's not conducive to like progress. And you totally feel it if you make that wrong decision, which everybody does. Everyone makes the wrong decision sometimes because they really want to do a class or they really enjoy that. Yeah, FOMO and
all that.
Yeah, everything. It's like, but actually, if you miss one workout and sleep instead, is that going to be the workout that made the difference to how you wanted to change your body in a certain way? Probably not.
Probably not. And on the note of training, how important has recovery been in this transformation? Everybody talks about training. Yeah. No one talks about recovery.
No, that's true. It is probably more important than training, I would say. I think
for you guys,
for us, for sure. Although for a lot of people as well, because we talk to a lot of people who, and we're exactly the same. We don't really do tourist stuff anymore. We've been here a while. We've seen the things that we want to see. We came here to do this, and this is what we're doing. So our life literally looks like go to the gym, go home and shower, eat some food, lay on the sofa and do nothing, go back to the gym, come back, eat some food, and lay on the sofa and do nothing.
What an amazing life.
Like, yeah. And I was chatting with a friend recently whose parents came out, and she was really worried that they'd just be so bored. And like, people go, oh, you're living in Thailand, you're living in paradise, you're doing all these amazing things, which is really true and cool. But actually, we go to the gym and we sleep, and that's about it. And my friend described it as, it's boring, but it's a boring I love. It's an absolute boring I love. And other people who are not into it would go, oh, you're just going to get bored every single day. But then you think like, but don't you get bored going to work every single day?
And this is where you've had, you know, I wasn't going to bring this up, but probably where you've had we go down rabbit holes in these videos. But transformation, not just in your body and in your mental well-being, but also in your friendship groups as well, right? Yeah. Because if they were your old friendship group, they say you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? Okay, cool. I mean, that's, didn't know that. You know, it's popular, you know, self-help books always talk about that sort of stuff. Yeah. So if your old circle's saying, why are you doing all this training? What's wrong with you? It's boring, gym, you know, like you're a gym rat. Like, cool. Maybe they're just, you know, you've transformed out of that circle into another circle. You've met, I'm sure you can share many stories of new people that have fallen into your life out here, new circles. Absolutely. Through training, and through your transformation. One of the things that we love about this, about meeting people here, is that you don't have to convince anyone here that here is the best place to be. But everyone back home, you have to justify why you're here. And everyone back home's like, oh, how long are you going to stay? Why are you doing it? And, you know, isn't it expensive? And but everyone who's already here that you make friends with, you don't have to have that conversation. It's like, oh, I was thinking about going to Thailand to live on the soil for a little while, because everyone's here and everybody already agrees that this is really cool. So you kind of get over that first hurdle that you might have to have those conversations with people back home. And we've got people back home who are super supportive and really proud of us and pleased that we're doing it. But we have also got people who go, what are you doing? Your life is so different to mine now. We have nothing in common, so therefore we don't talk. But so you slowly remove yourself from those people. Kind of. Not completely. No, and it's definitely still very friendly, but we have new friends, new peers, and slightly different things, and different like problems, and like I think a lot of people back home, and we were exactly the same before we left, are stuck in the society that's around them, right? So people they have stressful jobs, and the cost of living is horrendous, and the government's awful, and things are bad in general, and the weather's shit, and it is like going on antidepressants is a rite of passage, right? Like lots of different things happen in people's lives, and you see it as normal, and people try and do self-care, but it's actually aftercare. It's micro traumas are happening to people every single day, and it's difficult, and we were stuck in that too, and we tried to make that decision, and we were in a very fortunate position to be able to say, let's remove ourselves from this, let's do something different and see who we are at the end of it, because maybe who we are is not
like who we are when we're surrounded by all that shit in the UK, and when
Gotcha.
when we're in that society, we have to react to that society.
Gotcha.
But when we're here and we've literally got nothing to worry about except what food we're going to eat, and which gym classes we're going to go to, you become a different person and you can explore different parts of your personality. And that's been really liberating for us. And I know that's been a massive thing for Alex as well, and his confidence. And he can walk into a gym now and talk to people and make jokes and have friends. And that he'd never been to a gym before. He'd never been to a gym class. And it was so welcoming and nice here that we just went, let's put ourselves in a totally different situation and see what we do and observe ourselves and see how we change and where we end up. And we both like the results and we quite like it.
So we're going into part 2 now, and to continue with our questions for about 15 minutes or so before we have to move again. Rosie,
Yes?
your physical transformation and Alex's physical transformation over the past 12 months, how would you say that's impacted you guys on a psychological level, mental level? How has that been for you guys?
Overwhelmingly positive.
Yep.
Really, really positive. We started this journey not really knowing how we would fare and what we would like. And we've kind of gone in like totally different directions to what we thought we would go in. So like very gender stereotypically, we're like the complete opposite. Alex does all of the yoga and the Zen stuff, and I do all the boxing and the fight stuff. But it's hugely increased confidence for sure. It's hugely increased our well-being in terms of like good sleep, which impacts on good mood and stuff like that. Our nutrition stuff has hugely impacted us psychologically as well. And you can like almost pinpoint what has caused a certain reaction. So like in the UK, we if you felt a bit rubbish, often you couldn't pinpoint exactly what that was. So there were so many different variables. Oh, maybe it was because work was stressful, maybe it's because there's I don't know, you're gonna get a thunderstorm headache, or maybe it's because you didn't sleep well, maybe it's because of this. Here, there are so few of those variables, and there's so many of them are constant, that when you change one thing, you're really able to notice that that's the thing that happened and it made me feel like this.
Yes.
And you can kind of eliminate it next time, which was really, really good. And that comes with time. But that was brilliant. I found, for example, that if I eat within like 4 hours of going to bed, I have a terrible night's sleep, which I never realised before. I just thought, oh, I just had a bad night's sleep because at the moment my sleep is bad.
Yeah.
But actually there was stuff I could do to change it. So, and I'm someone who really needs a lot of sleep and good sleep as well, otherwise I'm useless. But the other thing that we found out about ourselves, which we definitely wouldn't say prior to coming here, is that we're the type of people who just like exercise. Like back in the UK, I wouldn't have said that. I would have said like I do it because it's good for me and I really enjoy boxing as a sport. But going for a run just for the sake of going for a run was never my plan.
Sure.
But I'm just the type of person who likes to exercise and move my body, and I think Alex would say the same.
Let's jump to the next question. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So we'll jump to financials.
Okay.
I've decided.
Yep.
So you guys have been out here for 12 months. You fly out tomorrow. How did you guys manage to stay here for so long?
Yeah.
Like, what was your budget? If you, as much as you want to share about financials, personal financials, how did you do it?
Okay. So we made a really big effort to save up some cash before we came out. I think I left the UK with about £4,000.
Okay.
And I'm still going on that. I've got about £120 left. So a couple of things. So you can come here and you can spend £1,000 a month easily. Like, and you can eat at all the good places, you can get all the meal prep done for you, you can eat out 3 times a day, buy the all-inclusive passes, stay at nice hotels and things like that, which a lot of people like to do, especially if they're coming short term, so like 2 weeks to a month or so. It's really nice to treat yourself and have a comfortable place to live. We went for total budget, so we stayed at the cheapest place it was possible to stay on the Soy at the time, which was 8,000 baht a month, which translated to about £160 a month between us. And for that was at 2 home.
Good old two home.
Yeah, good old two home.
We'll link up that video down below in the description. I shot a video there.
Yes, I remember.
If you guys are interested in staying there.
And it was basic but great. It was a lovely bedroom and a bathroom, and we had the poolside room and stuff. That was the COVID price and the low season price. So it's gone up now. It's 14,000 at the moment, and it's going back down to 12,000 for the low season. But we stayed at a budget place, and we ate at the super cheap places as well. So we spent a lot of time at Tony's. We spent a lot of time at Ocha D, which are the two, I think, cheapest places on the soy. But we also looked further afield, and we found a place that is a 6-minute drive from the soy called Vegetarian House, which was great for us. And for 50 baht, you get a big portion of rice and 2 curries. So we would do that most days and then take away for dinner and use the microwave at our place. So that was it in terms of food. We hired bikes as well, which was 2,500 a month, which is about £60. So that was super cheap for us, and we didn't use taxis to get everywhere. We used the bikes. Important to note that we have bike licenses, and we didn't just like rookie jump on a bike and see what happened. Like we were qualified to do that.
Which we actually might talk about, in another video about the international driver's permits and all that kind of stuff. And insurance behind that. Insurance coverage behind that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, go on.
And so that's what we did kind of like for the first half of our trip. And then the second half of our trip, we moved away from the street, and we got our own condo apartment, which is about 15-minute ride away. And it was kind of nice. It was like settling in a little bit more homely. So not only did we have the bedroom and the bathroom, but we have a living room and we have a kitchen. So we also cook at home now as well. There are a couple of big supermarkets that do groceries, which are really similar prices to the markets.
Share to the audience which ones.
So there is Lotus, which is just one junction further along than Central Festival. It's about a 15-minute ride from the soy. And there is Big C, which is also about a 15-minute ride from the soy, just before Lotus by Central Festival. So yeah, they were really useful to us. We used the 2 apps, Grab and Food Panda as well, where you can order food and it gets delivered within half an hour or so, and you can find really cheap stuff on there. And so that's been brilliant. So yeah, I worked a little bit online as well. I did some consulting work just to get a few like bits of income occasionally, but the majority of the time it was we were living off our savings, and we were living very frugally. We would wash our clothes in our shower and like hang them out to dry. I mean, laundry's not even expensive here.
It's like 40 baht
just
or something. 30 baht
but
a
just
kilo.
Anywhere we could scrimp and save, we did. But like I say, like some people are like, I spend 1,000 baht a day on food. I probably don't spend 1,000 baht a week on food. And I'm not eating less than I should. Like I'm not suffering as a result of that. So so we did save up, and but we also managed our expectations here and lived pretty frugally. And I've already spoken about how we did the 10 session passes here rather than buying an all-inclusive month, which really cut down our costs as well. So once you've been here for a little while, or if you watch the videos and you do your research, you figure out where the cheap places are, where the more pricey stuff is. Thai food's always way cheaper than Western food. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, the basics here are really expensive, like I just want some milk and bread and cereal, and they're not basics here. They're imported Western goods. So if you want to go and get some like brown rice and green curry, that's your basics, and that's going to be cheap.
That's going to be cheaper.
So yeah, that's what we did, and we embraced it, and we were having curry for breakfast and curry for dinner, and just chucking different vegetables in and proteins in.
So roughly how much, just to round off the financials part of this chapter, how much per month were you on average spending with everything? Did you get that?
Everything. I don't know if I've done that
accommodation,
analysis.
food, training, scooter.
So I'm going to say for £400, £450 a month maybe.
450 quid,
So what's that, 800
Between,
Aussie dollars?
that's
maybe?
each.
That is...
Together.
That's each.
Each.
Yeah, that's each. And then we treated ourselves occasionally as well when we knew that we had like a bit of cash. It had been one of our birthdays. Like I got a little bit of a help out because I got a tax refund whilst I was here, so that was an extra boost of £500. I was like, thanks very much. So we went out and got some pancakes and
of
stuff.
course,
so.
You got to celebrate every now and again.
Yeah, exactly. So we tried to live as frugally as possible, but we also know that that's not sustainable. So we enjoyed having nice treats as well.
Yeah, nice. How did you guys go about tracking and measuring your transformation journey Beside the photos and the videos that you guys have been collecting on a month-by-month basis over the past 12 months, how else have you done it? Have you done DEXA scans, bioimpedance?
No, we didn't do that, but we regret not doing that.
Okay.
We wish we had. We have each done one body composition scan, but it was because we won it for free in a raffle. So we headed
You're on a
down.
budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we headed down and did that, which was interesting.
Where did you go?
We went to I Am Drugstore, which is just below Camp 6, Tiger Camp 6.
Yep.
So we mostly tracked weight to start with. We were both here to lose weight, and it was only a certain way into our journey that we actually thought, I also want to be strong, and I want my body to move properly. And our focus has kind of changed a little bit. So to start with, we were tracking weight. We were tracking that once a week only, and we were using the scales that are available in the Tiger reception. Some people weigh every single day, some people fast and then weigh, some people have a poo and then weigh, but we were like, no, once a week at the same time, wearing the same clothes, that's enough for us. It was a little while in we started taking some body photos as well, and we started taking some measurements, which was really interesting. Sometimes you'd lose like only 0.2 of a kilo in a week, but you'd lose like 3 centimeters off your waist.
Sure.
So that was really interesting, and I'd say that is one of my biggest tips to somebody coming out here is take the before photos, take the before measurements. As much as you hate what you look like at the moment, do it, because it's such a, you get such an over idea of like your progress.
Did you use a tape measure, like, because you can buy them from a craft store, you can buy it off Amazon super cheap, just literally a tape measure. It's one of the things I used when I was tracking around my bicep, around my bicep, my thighs, around my navel. Did you guys do that? Did you get a tape measure? And
yeah, we got a tape measure. We did calves, thighs, hips, waist, bust or chest, and neck and biceps. And we did that once a month. And compared it with also our monthly photos, and then also looking at the weekly weigh-ins.
Did you put that in a spreadsheet?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have that, so that's like the physical stuff that you can do. The other stuff you can do, I think, for me, because I was working on fitness, another thing that I tracked was how many classes I'd done per week.
Sure.
And over time, I could see that hugely going up. So when I first started, I think I did 4 classes in a week, and I was absolutely dead. And now I can do 4 classes in a day and then carry on with the rest of the week and do 13, 14 classes a week. So it's good to see that upward trend as well.
Okay. And so that's body composition tracking. So how about performance-based tracking? First thing that comes to mind is the Big Buddha run, right? So a lot of guys and gals use that as a bit of a yardstick for tracking their performance. At the beginning of their trip, they'll time the climb at the bottom of the Buddha and then
up to the top,
and then 30 days later or 3 months later or so, they'll do the same run or walk or whatever and see if they can beat that time. Was that one of the methods that you guys used?
It is, and I did it yesterday and I died.
You told me this.
So the first Big Buddha, so it's about a 4.2k hike/walk/run to the top. The first kilometre is the hardest. It's got the steepest incline, and it kills a lot of people. And then they die for the rest of the last 3 kilometres. So my first ever time, I did it 8 days after arriving here, and I did it in 48 minutes something. And after 12 months, I did it yesterday, and I did it in 35 minutes. So I've knocked 13 minutes off my time, which I'm really, really pleased with. And what I've noticed as well, this goes back to what I was saying a couple of days ago, when I know more things about my body now. What I've noticed is that I've got great cardio, but my muscle endurance in my legs is lacking. Whereas some people got super strong legs, but they can't breathe and their heart's going too fast going up. I'm fine with the cardio, but my legs are sore. So that's the thing that slows me down, is that my muscles are tired. So that's a really good pointer for me to work on in the future, like muscle endurance. So we did that. Alex did one a couple of weeks ago as well. So his first ever time was 52 minutes. And he smashed it out in 29 just the other day. So he got sub 30, which he's really pleased with. I think he came 3rd that day as well. So
I think you sent me footage of the Big Buddha climb that you guys did last year. Okay, I'll throw that over the top of this. Incredible.
And I have another one of those I'll send you as well.
Alright, send it to me, I'll show you guys.
Yeah, so we did that. That's a really, really good test of your overall cardio and fitness. I would say it's a good yardstick for measuring your fitness, but it's not the thing that's going to get you fitter. So if you really want to get fit, you wouldn't just come here and just climb Big Buddha every day. You'd do all the other stuff and then use Big Buddha as the test. Yeah. And then talking of tests, the other thing that we did is every first Monday of the month at 7:30 in the ambush classes with Coach Tommy, he does a fitness test.
Okay.
Where you can you pick your category, you decide if you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced, and based on the category you have to do a certain number of reps of like I think it's 8 different exercises, and you just note how long it took you to do all of those exercises.
I see. Yep.
So when we first got here, I chose the beginner category.
Yep.
And it took me 34 minutes to do the whole of the beginner category. And 2 weeks ago I was in the advanced category, which is double the number of reps of the beginner, and I did it in 28 minutes.
Unbelievable.
So I was really, really pleased with that. I did nothing else for the rest of the day, but I was really pleased with that. And
So-
Alex has had really similar progress.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this, I didn't know that he does that. It does a test in his class.
Yeah, first Monday of the month.
First Monday of the month, 7:30 in the morning here at Tiger Muay Thai.
That's right.
Wow, incredible.
Yep.
So what I'll do, I'll link up the Big Buddha video down below in the description if you guys want an idea of what it's all about. I'll link it up down below. Go and check it out. It's hosted here at Tiger Muay Thai every Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Got to register the day before. On the next point, how did you guys? Now I have a general idea.
Go on.
How did you guys stay here for 12 months? One of the common questions I get from
Visas.
people is visas.
Yeah.
I want to go for 6 months or 3 months, but I can only get 30 days on arrival, plus a 30-day extension. So I know look, I'm not a visa expert, we're not visa experts, you need to get your own advice depending on what passport you hold. It's going to differ. So I have an Australian passport, you have a British passport, Alex has a British passport, so we have basically the same passport in terms of visas. How did you guys do it?
So when we first arrived, the immigration authorities were still trying to promote tourism after COVID because tourism had massively come down. So we got a visa that was only available for a short amount of time. It was called a special tourist visa, and we got that entitled us to 3 months unbroken, and then we could go to immigration, pay 1,900 baht, and that would extend it for a further 3 months. So we had a full 6-month block of being here, with the proviso being that we didn't leave the country and come back. It was just a single entry, you had to stay in the country the whole time.
Yep.
We then left and we went back to the UK for a couple of weeks to see some family, and we came back. When we checked back in at immigration on that occasion, we got just the free entry stamp, which you don't need a visa for if you are from a certain number of countries.
Yep.
That at the time entitled us to 45 days. We could then extend it at immigration by 30, so we got ourselves another 75 days.
Yep.
At that point, we left the country, we went to Malaysia for 10 days, and whilst we were in Penang, which is like a close Malaysian island, we visited the Thai consulate there and we applied for a tourist visa. And the tourist visa got us 60 days, extendable by 30.
Yes.
So that got us another 3 months, and we are leaving, I think 11 days before that runs out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can apply, Aussie's going to do this, I'm sure it's the same with Brit. So outside the country through the Thai embassy, you can get 2 months.
Yes.
If you apply to the Thai embassy outside of Thailand from your
home country or any other Thai consulate, just not Thailand.
You can't be inside Thailand when you do it. You'll get 2 months in your passport, and then once you're here, you can extend that by 30 days.
Exactly.
We'll give you 3 months. Yeah. So is that a total of 12 months then?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Just about, with a couple of weeks back in the UK, and we did 10 days in Malaysia as well.
So at the time of filming this right now, it's 30 days visa on arrival, plus a 30-day extension.
Yep.
And then people ask, well, I want to come out, I want to be like you guys, I want to come out for 12 months, how do I do it? So to the best of your knowledge, how can they do it? To the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, they would need an education visa, which most gyms will provide, and I think you can get a 6-month one or a 12-month one, and you can also get a single entry or a multiple entry depending on whether or not you have plans to leave the country or not. Most gyms will help you get that. Another way to get that is to sign up to a Thai language school and take lessons once or twice a week, and they will provide you with a student education visa as well. I think off the top of my head, that's about £1,500.
Yeah.
So it's not super cheap, but it does guarantee you'll stay here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so next question. So you've been out here for 12 months at the time of your life. Knowing what you know now,
Yep.
what would you do differently if you had to restart this journey all over again, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now,
A couple of things.
yeah, I would have changed my nutrition earlier. And I think both of us would have, oh, that's so distracting. Both of us would have incorporated strength training a lot earlier.
Yes.
Because we did loads of cardio, thinking like, get your heart rate going, run, don't stop running until you're skinny. And that's totally not the way to do it, and that just causes massive overtraining. So I think we would have incorporated strength training. And also, we've mostly done classes here. We've not really used the gym independently. And so we're kind of going back to the UK after this year of being here, and we're going to walk into a gym and go, oh, I don't really know what to do unless there's a coach around. So I think going to the gym independently and asking questions, or getting a couple of PTs to ask some questions about like what can you do independently, which the strength classes are really good for. You can definitely take stuff from the classes for your own gym workouts, but yeah, definitely incorporating strength training and learning about how strength training sort of interacts with the nutrition and the cardio and fat loss and insulin and loads of hormonal stuff. So I think strength training a little earlier on, and knowing what we know now, bearing in mind we didn't know it then, we would have changed our nutrition a fair amount earlier.
Can I maybe ask the question of, do you think it would have been easier had you consulted a coach out here as well early in the piece to kind of...
Yeah, possibly.
Do you think so?
I think so. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think we've achieved great things without that. But if you're starting completely from scratch, I reckon 1 or 2 PT sessions just to
find your feet a little bit.
Find your feet and feel comfortable, and just know what different bits of equipment are called, and what does a burpee look like? What should I focus on when I'm trying to do a push-up? Those, like, you get little bits of information from coaches when you ask them questions that really will change your technique and your style, and that will really massively help. So I don't think it's necessary. Like, the aim is move your body and move it well, and if you're doing that, then you're winning. But if you have some specific focused areas, then chatting with a coach or getting PT is probably helpful.
Sure. And some of the highlights of your transformation over the past 12 months.
Okay.
Now, can I jump in real quick?
Go on.
For me, watching you guys from afar, I would say the water bottle photos are the coolest thing that I've seen. So I'll throw those over the top. So maybe explain a bit more about those water bottle photos.
Okay, so when we were living at Two Home, we didn't have water available to us. We had to buy 6 packs of water, and we would go and get them from 7-Eleven and bring them back. And we were carrying them and struggling to carry them. And Alex noticed that we had lost more weight than the water bottles weight to carry. And so we decided to hold the amount of weight that we had lost. So we stacked up the water bottles, counted it out, figured out the weight that we had lost, and held all of the water that we had lost, and then reminisced that we climbed Big Buddha with that weight on us. And there's no way we could carry those water bottles up to the top of Big Buddha. So that was a really cool way of sort of measuring how well we had done. We first thought, oh, let's grab a kettlebell and hold it, and then you think, oh, people, in a photo, no one knows how much a kettlebell weighs. We also did a weekly newsletter for our friends and family back home, and in weight loss sections, when we were talking about how much we had weighed, we never told our friends and family how much we had lost in kilos. We always told them in terms of like 4,000 golf balls, or like 100,000 ants, or like we've lost the equivalent of like the average giraffe brain size or something. So we found like so that was really cool, and the water bottles were just another way to demonstrate that. So that was cool. That was a really good highlight. And I remember taking those photos, actually. I was the photographer for Alex's one, and you came along and started chatting with him. And he was just stood there like, for so long.
Look, mate, what are you doing holding these water bottles? He's like, oh, I'm doing it for the photo.
So that was really cool. Also, buying some medium-sized t-shirts from the Tiger shop and them not fitting, and then several weeks putting those on and going,
cool.
We look good.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's nice. And like you notice so many different things. Like my goal here was definitely to lose weight, but more to get fit and to get healthy and to be strong and to know what my body is capable of. But there are some things that you notice just throughout your life. Like I don't have to pull a chair that far away from a table anymore before I sit down on it. And like I can open a door and like slide through slightly more leanly. So you just notice those little things. And like sometimes in the mornings, like when you go to push yourself up, when you get up out of bed, you're like, I am strong, I can do this. Like, so you notice those little different, those things which you never noticed when you were bigger and heavier. And that was just the way life was. But now you're like, oh, I can move through the world comfortably.
Incredible.
Really cool. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I also did a chin up.
Yes.
I did one chin up. No, I can do one chin up many times, but I can't do 2 chin ups in a row. So we bought a pull-up bar for our apartment, and I attempted a chin up, and I could do it. And then we tried to film one, and I could not do it. So that was really cool.
Well,
I did a chin up.
So Alex, initially, like that was last year, that photo, sorry, that video that was taken of Alex attempting a chin up. Sorry about that, we're in Thailand. Yeah, so last year you filmed Alex attempting a chin up, and I'll show you that video. And then we shot him again like 2 days ago, also
doing like 6
doing 6 chin up like a champion.
Yeah, that was really cool. Another thing that I achieved last week was I did a push up, and my nose touched the floor before my boobs, which was fantastic. I was really pleased with that. Alex can do really cool push-ups now. He can do diamond push-ups and side-to-side ones as well.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really cool. There's also a class here on Thursdays. I think it's changing soon, but on Thursdays at 12:30, there's something called the Power Infinity Workout with Coach Sands, and it is 8 reps, 8 exercises, 8 rounds. So you just do 8 reps, you move on to the next one, you do 8 reps, and you move on to the next one. You just keep going, and there's like a 29-minute limit, and you do as many rounds as you can. And I can finish that now in 29 minutes, which is brilliant. And Alex smashes out 10 rounds of that in 29 minutes. So that's really cool.
It's been incredible to watch from afar.
Yeah.
You know, meeting these guys mid last year. I left to go back to Melbourne, then I'd come back, and literally these guys are flying out tomorrow lunchtime, I think.
Tomorrow lunchtime on Songkran. So we missed the Thai New Year.
How could you miss that?
We had a flight for Friday.
Oh, did you?
And it got cancelled and brought forward a day, so we missed it, which sucks. But it's just an excuse to come back.
Yeah, yeah. And so, speaking about coming back, what does the next chapter for you guys look like?
So we're running out of money.
So 120 quid.
Yeah, which might buy me a coffee at the airport. So we're gonna head back home. We're gonna put down some roots a little bit. We've got loads of our stuff in storage. We want to get rid of it. It's amazing the things that you think are like worth keeping, and then you live here for a year with basically nothing except sportswear and a couple of CVs. So we're going to get rid of loads of stuff, and our plan is to save up as quickly as possible and then head back out of the UK as soon as we can. Hopefully by Christmas, but we don't know. We're going to do our best to get out of the UK again quickly, and most probably here as our first stop. And back home, I think we're gonna carry on training. We're gonna keep going to the gym and keep doing strength stuff. I'm looking at PT certs and nutrition stuff as well, which is cool. I used to run a kickboxing club, so like I've come a little bit from that world, where I can sort of jump back into it, but just with so much more knowledge. So that's my plan there. Alex is going to keep working on strength stuff. He's like totally made it with the cardio now. He's super fit, and he's going to keep working on like getting shredded, getting ripped, and looking at how he can kind of change his body composition now rather than just his overall fitness and health, because that's peak, absolute peak. So that's the plan. To
round this off, how can the guys back home watching, how can they reach out to you guys? I'm sure you're going to have people watching, they're going to have questions that we haven't answered. It's been a long video already to watch. Congratulations for making it this far. But if they've got any further questions, how can they reach out to you? Social media? Social media.
Instagram is the way to find us. We are at Flamboyant and Bulky, and it's the word "and," not the ampersand.
We'll link it up.
So yeah, at Flamboyant and Bulky. We have a public account, so like get in touch. It's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
It was great to be part of their little ceremonial workout today, actually, that Tommy had arranged. And was it a cake that Alex?
Yeah, so
we'll show you the footage.
We've got 3 of our main coaches, just like a healthy cake and loads of fruit and also a favourite chocolate bar,
Nice.
just to say thanks.
That's right.
Don't cry, Tommy, don't cry. Tommy, you cannot cry.
It's not my birthday.
Although I kind of wish we'd taken that back from Tommy after he,
I was gonna
he
say.
destroyed us. So a word of warning to anybody watching who gets to know Coach Tommy.
Yes.
If you tell him when you're leaving or you tell him when your birthday is, he will
He'll slaughter you.
he will torture you. So today, because I'd lost about 30 kilos and Alex had lost about 35, he put those as the number of reps on the board.
One more note. I thought I looked young. This guy just turned 40. And I thought I looked young.
Yes.
At the end of the class, which was already like a 450 calorie workout class on 7:30 this morning, we had to jump on the assault bike and burn that many calories and then do 365 squats to represent the 365 days we've been here, and then we had to push the heavy sled, and meanwhile all of our friends and buddies that we've made over,
We're all helping out.
everyone's helping out and
Yeah.
cheering and clapping and great, and we went and got some breakfast afterwards, which was really nice. But yeah, don't tell him when you're leaving, don't tell him when your birthday is, don't tell him that you love burpees, don't flip his hat off of his head because he will destroy you. In good spirits, but he'll destroy you.
At the very end of this video, we'll clip in some of the ceremony so you guys can watch it at the very, very end of this video. But I would like to say it's been a pleasure knowing you guys and get to know you guys over the past 12 months. Obviously for 4 months I wasn't here, but it feels like I never left,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
We're just
It's home.
Yeah, it's a home away from home, so it's been a real honor to be part of your journey and watching it from afar. Really inspiring, and it's been really exciting to make this video. I've been wanting to make this video for a while.
Nice.
Actually.
Nice.
Because I don't often see a story like you guys from beginning to end.
Yeah.
You know, I see it
You see
half.
it in snippets.
You see it like in pieces, but not from beginning to end. But yeah, it's been a real awesome
Thanks.
pleasure. Thanks very much for joining.
Yeah, cheers.
And see you in the future.
For sure.
All right, let's roll a little bit of the ceremony. Let's go.
This is basically what almost each of them lost.
Yeah.
For me, 35 for Alex.
30 kg on Rosie. Incredible. 35 on Alex. Incredible. So, I want you to say something to that. As I've been on a journey like them as well. I was 130 kg. I lost as well 40 kg. So, what it needs to take is pure discipline. Be honest to yourself. Look, there's so much temptation out there. But if you have that is a designated goal, nothing can stop you. And look how much worth it is. It is so much worth it. How do you feel?
Brilliant. Really, really fucking tired.
On Monday, I actually talked about it. Tell me one day where you think to go back there. Not even one day that would go back there. Not even one day. And that's what I mean with your goals. You want to go every single fucking day to hunt your goals, no matter what. And their goal was to go down, remove all this shit away. Doesn't pay rent. Guys, first of all, big journey. There's a big journey. There's a big journey. I'm so proud of you. So good. But now I need to show you my love. Okay, I show my love different. Don't get hope, Alex. So, where's the